our first demo session. So just before that, let me introduce I myself. I'm Praveen. I have over 12 years of experience in software industry, software testing industry. I've worked in various organizations, including startup, MNCs, and a bigger organization as well. I have headed the team, a couple of inside the couple of organization as a QA head, and have worked on different tools and technologies in the past, including Selenium, Cypress, Playwright, Catalan, Tosca, and other things in the past. If I talk about I myself as a trainer, I've been teaching from the last 5 years on different tools and technologies like Selenium, Cypress, Playwright. Playwright have started from the last 3 years. The rest assured API library using Java again, which will be for the API automation. In terms of training, again, I have also conducted more than 20 sessions for the corporate training, where I've taught in different organizations, including Cognizant, HCL, Capgemini, Festo, and few other from the US organization and Canada's organizations. I'm happy to be your tutor for this particular session, like which will consist of a playwright using JavaScript and TypeScript. And that's about I myself. What will be the agenda for today? Which will be again a demo one session for us today. Here, these are the agenda that I have set it out. What is the benefit of joining the course? Course content will be going through in details. Again, if someone can confirm if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, Praveen, we can see.
Okay, great. Let me go through over here. Check it down. Okay. So we'll be covering up in terms of our session today is like what is the benefit of joining this course? Course content, which will be played at using TypeScript and JavaScript. Who can enroll and any prerequisite that we require in terms of joining the course? Why should we learn it rather than waiting for some months or year? Because if you have done some kind of research, Playwright is in the market from the last 4 years, which have been incorporated in December 2020, and it have been developed by again Microsoft and is being maintained by Microsoft itself. So Playwright have been developed by Microsoft and is being maintained by Microsoft itself. What is the benefit of learning it right away, like right now, rather than waiting for few months or few years? That we'll see again. What you will be learning after the course completion, course duration, course highlight, why Playwright, why not other tools and technology? That also we'll discuss in our session today. And then we'll see like if you people have any kind of question and answer, that will also try to cover up over there. Okay. So first, like what is basically a playwright is. So playwright is a tool. Playwright is not only a tool, it is also a tool and a framework. When we talk about a framework, that means we do not require any third party support to work with Playwright. We do not need any third party library to work with Playwright. Playwright itself will be able to support each and everything that we take the help in terms of, let's say, working along with Selenium or Cypress, right? So if any one of you have already worked on any other tools and technology in the past, you might be knowing that you need to take the help of different libraries, different jars to work with test automation, either using Selenium or using Cypress, right? But Playwright says that I am also a tool and I'm also a framework. You do not require any third-party tool to work with Playwright or to integrate with Playwright. Playwright by default will support everything that requires in terms of web automation and API automation. Okay. Now, one more thing, one major things over here is that Playwright is an open source tools in the market. When we talk about open source, that means it is freely available in the market for everyone. You simply can just install it and start working with. You do not have to pay any single rupees to work with Playwright. Even for the advanced level of Playwright, you do not require any single amount to be paid. If anyone of you have worked in the past using Cypress, you might be knowing that to work with advanced level of test automation or advanced level of reporting, you require a paid version of Cypress. So that is one more advantage over here, that working with Playwright is a completely open source tool, and you do not require anything to be paid out to work with Playwright. Okay. Now, we'll talk about the first question that we have is, what is the benefit of joining this course? So again, Playwright is one of a tool which not only supports the web automation, but it also fully supports the API automation as well. That means you do not have to go to any other tools and technology to work separately with web automation and API automation. Let's get started with our agenda. What is the benefit of joining the course? So I've categorized over here in different questions and answers over here. The first one is, what is the benefit of joining the course? So this course will mostly will be consisting of whatever Playwright, JavaScript and TypeScript will be going through over here will consist of a practical hands-on. That means you also have to work with, you also have to submit some kind of assignment, you also have to submit um, um, some kind of you know problems that I'll be giving you to solve the answers in terms of the test automation. Some kind of real problems, some kind of real life examples of the test automation that you will be going through. That is known as practical hands-on. That means not at the time of going through with the sessions, but whenever you get time, you also have to practice it out so that you learn it in a better way. Interaction, like interact, this should not be something like, something like a sided session kind of. It should have to be an interactable. So when you ask some kind of questions, when you try to practice something, you'll get some kind of doubts, right? So those things you have to clear it out. That is what known as practical hands-on. That however we work inside the organization, you will be working in the same way over here. You'll be working in the same way over here. This will not only consist of the theoretical part, this will also consist of the practical things that we will be using inside the organization. However, we go through in terms of the organization, however, you will be starting the test automation. Everything will be going from scratch. Okay. Second will be a real-time practice and framework development. So as I was talking about, you will also have to practice. You will also have to submit some kind of assignment, and there'll be some kind of benefit as well. Like you learn something, you try to practice on some of the topics, and that will give you confidence over there, right? Once it gives you confidence, like you will be able to crack the interviews. You will go in an interview with the confidence, and when you go for the interview in confidence, you will be able to perform in a better way, right? Second will be the framework development. So here we'll be covering up the page object model framework, which will be again completely from scratch. When we talk about a completely from scratch, that means however we generate the framework, however we develop the framework, same you can copy paste inside your organization as well if you are the one that you are trying to develop the framework from scratch. Okay, that means that framework will be completely ready to use inside your organization. Okay, that is what known as a framework development that we'll be developing in such a way that you can directly, if you are the person who is trying to start the Playwright framework from scratch, then you can directly copy paste the similar things inside your organization as well in terms of a framework development. The most important things, next one is the one-to-one mentorship. But we talk about a one-to-one mentorship. That doesn't mean like, you like I'll be writing something for you. No, I'll basically be guiding you. How do you approach for this? How do you sometimes what happen is like people will try to by heart the problems, by heart the methods, by heart basically the logics that we'll be writing. Right. So I'll be guiding you over there to how do you basically approach for this kind of logic? How do you think in such a way that you have to approach in this way? Or there are like for one problem, there will be a lot of solutions, right? There will be a different ways in which you can approach for the solution. So all those things will be covering up whenever and wherever you get stuck at any point of time. One-on-one mentorship will also be applicable after the session as well. So that means even after the completion of courses, you'll be getting support from my side wherever you get stuck inside your organization and or at the time of development of your script. If you get stuck at any point of time, you can approach back to me for the next 1 year after completion of courses for any kind of support. Again, I'll be I'll just provide you the solutions. I'll provide you how do you approach for that, but not something that I'll be writing the code for you. Okay. So support will be something which will be again applicable for next 1 year after completion of the courses. Next 1 year after completion of the courses. Okay, I believe like you people will not may not require those kind of things because that will like after course completion you'll get the confidence to start by self. There'll be a resume preparation. How do you prepare for resume? How do you basically highlight your skills inside the resume? How it should have to be marketed in terms of the in terms of the job market and so on. Depending on what the job description requires, you have to prepare your resume. We'll also be taking some kind of interview preparations, like what do you have to prepare? How do you have to prepare? Depending on the job description, what do you have to focus on and so on. So what happens sometimes is like job description will be different and people will, prepare some kind of generic questions. And there they'll lack in terms of the interview performance. So we'll go through with the job description, few of the job descriptions, and we'll talk about how do you have to prepare depending on the job description that the organization is requiring. Okay. As I talk about any help during or after the course completion will again be taken care for the next 1 year. Making you ready for interview and mock interview. So there are a certain set of questions that I have prepared theoretically as well as practical in terms of Playwright, JavaScript, and TypeScript. So this when we talk about making you ready for the interviews, we'll also be conducting mock interviews if any one of you are interested in before going for the interview, so that I can provide you the feedback, what you have to prepare, what not you have to prepare, what you have to focus, and so on. Okay. So that will again, I have prepared from my own experience. That means I have taken more than 200 interviews till date inside different organizations, not only inside my organization, for different organizations for Playwright. So depending on what usually the person asks, what usually the interviewer asks, I have prepared certain set of questions for that will be again helpful for interview preparation. Okay, so these are few of the benefits. Apart from that, there are lot many, which you will come to know in terms of the courses itself. So these are the few of the benefit of joining this course. One more benefit is like the fees, very minimal. You can compare with the outside market as well. There'll be a lot of organization will, lot of institute will take a huge number of charges for the similar courses. Because I also teach in few of the institutes, so I'm aware of like what they charge and so on. You can still compare if you would like to. Again, I just request you people, like if you have any kind of questions or any kind of things that you would like to ask, you can interrupt in between as well. Okay. Now let's move towards course content over here using Playwright and TypeScript. So what is the course content that will be covering up over here? what is the complete course content that will be covering up over here. So if you talk about the course content that we have, this is the schedule wise we have prepared a course content. Schedule wise means we'll be starting from the day zero, day one, day two, and so on. So what kind of the things that we'll be going through. And apart from that, if you also see the complete course contents will be going through in this way. So in the initial stage, we'll be covering up with JavaScript and TypeScript fundamentals. Will be again completely from beginner state. That means completely from basics, which will start with variables, data types, operators, conditional statements, loops, functions. There are a few of the few functions are there available inside the JavaScript and TypeScript, which is also known as anonymous functions, arrows functions, array, strings, objects, and classes, like object oriented programming in terms of the types that we'll be going through in the initial stage, and then we'll start up like after completion of JavaScript and TypeScript, which will completely from the beginner stage, like how do we declare variables to the till oops concept of inside the TypeScript. And then after completion of JavaScript and TypeScript, we'll be starting up with Playwright. Playwright again will be starting from completely basic, where we'll see like how do we set up the project in terms of Playwright. You'll see like there are a lot of advantages when we talk about advantage some other day. You'll see like what are the different advantages that we have in terms of setting up the Playwright framework. So setting up Playwright framework is just a 2 minutes of work. Whereas if you have worked with Selenium in the past, you might be knowing that to set the framework for the Selenium, it requires 3 to 4 hours of time because you have to get the dependencies from the internet, like going through the Maven repository, copy paste inside your organ project, and so on. That requires a tedious times. That requires a huge amount of time to set up the framework for Playwright, framework for Selenium. Whereas when you start working with Playwright, you will come to know that that is just a 2 minutes of work to set up the complete framework for Playwright. We'll understand what is the architecture of the Playwright. What are some of the key concepts available, which is context. Some of the things will be there in terms of Playwright, which is known as browser fixture, page fixtures. We'll go through again completely from scratch. Then we'll write a basic programming, basic test scripts in terms of Playwright in the initial stage. We'll also cover up like what are the different types of locators that we have. Though it is not recommended to work with XPath to write the locators, but we'll be going through again completely in details because that will help you in terms of interviews. Like sometimes people will ask you to write an XPath, not the CSS selector and other things. So that will help you again in terms of the interview preparation. We'll see like completely again from the scratch. We'll learn basic CSS syntax, like how do we write the CSS selectors? How do we identify the CSS selector? What are different things in terms of DOM structure? When we talk about a DOM element, that is known as document object model. So DOM will be something which the application have been developed using. So HTML, CSS, and some other things. So that again, we'll see like how do we write the locators in different ways? How do we perform some kind of actions, like general actions that we generally do in terms of the test automation, like clicking, typing, getting text from the element, and some kind of other interactions as a initial stage of Playwright. And most important things again, when we talk about and when I'll share with you people the document of the Playwright that I have prepared over here, we'll go through with the details of the Playwright, where you will see what are the different advantages that we have. So one of the major advantages that it has is Playwright is having auto waiting capability. That means you do not have to wait for an element. You do not have to check whether the element is visible or not. You do not have to wait for element to be clickable or not. Right? That means generally when you try to interact with any of the test automation or try to write any of this script, you'll first check whether the element is available on the page or not, right? So those kind of things you do not have to perform in terms of Playwright. Playwright will automatically be able to perform such kind of actions in terms of test automation. It will automatically be able to check those kind of things with before interactions. That those things also will go through in details at the time of going through with synchronization concept. Okay. And then we'll see, as I was talking about, Playwright is also a framework. So we'll see like how do we write the assertions. Assertions means validation, whether whatever we have written is correct or not. Whatever we are trying to check in terms of the test automation is correct or not. Okay. So those kind of things we'll see again. How does it work in terms of Playwright? After understanding of basics, we'll dig deeper in terms of the Playwright, where we'll go to understand what are the different configuration file we have. How do we run the test case in a headless mode? How do we debug the test case? How do we work with multiple elements on the page and so on, like frames concept, shadow elements, alerts, pop-ups, mosh actions, right? Which is click, right click, context click. That means context click means as soon as you click on any of the element, it will open in the new window or new tab. Mouse over, drag and drop, file upload and download functionalities, multiple tabs and windows. How do we perform these kind of validation? That also will be covering up in terms of our test automation. And then we'll move towards advanced level of Playwright applications, where we'll see like how do we get the data from files? How do we get the data from Excel? How do we get the data from JSON? How do we get the data from uh, different types of what we say about classes? There can be sometimes like we'll be creating multiple classes. There will be a possibility of sometimes we'll be creating constant class where we can store all the constant value and then get the data from classes. Those things will be looking into in terms of our course content. Test suite structure will be going through like how do we create the framework? How do we basically optimize the framework? What are the different types of folders that we have to create? What are different types of packages that we have to create in terms of test structure? Reporter means how do we generate the reporting? Some the main intention of report is to check like how many test cases have been passed, failed, and so on. So all those things will be going through again in terms of our test automation. Then we'll see like there are few of the advantages, as I was trying to show you people like the different types of advantage in terms of one of them that we have an advantage where Playwright have given few of the tools, which is also known as traces. One of them is known as traces and other is known as code gen tool, right? So code gen tool is basically helping us in terms of record and playback. That means it will automatically generate the test script as soon as we navigate inside the application. Okay. And one of them, again, we have a traces. So the advantage of traces is we also generate the log file, right? In terms of Selenium, we take the help of log4j. In terms of other tools and technology, we'll be taking the help of some other things, right? So log4j is basically to generate the log of the test cases. That means step-by-step execution that it has performed. Slayrite will automatically be able to generate those kind of things. Again, there are few advantages where we do not have to write the code for taking the screenshot. We do not have to write the code for taking the video recording of your test case. Playwright will again automatically be able to take care of taking the screenshot of your test cases, taking the video recording of your test cases as well. That means it will automatically generate the video recording as well as a screenshot wherever and whenever you would like to take this screenshot of the test cases. So this is again one of a major advantage that Playwright has given, and that is the main reason why people and organization are moving towards Playwright nowadays. Okay, we'll see like what is code gen, Playwright inspector, visual testing, Playwright also supports a visual testing. When we talk about a visual testing, that means it compares this page by page, like screenshot. You take the screenshot before the deployment and take the screenshot after the deployment, and then you try to compare like visual things have not been changed or not, right? So Playwright will also support in that way as well. So we'll see for the visual testing as well. And later, after completion of the advanced level of web automation, we'll check few of the concept in terms of the API testing. So this course is mainly designed for the web automation testing, but we'll see few of the concept in terms of the API testing. That means why API testing, few of the methods such as get, post, put, and delete method. How do we automate those methods? Like how do we automate the API calls, general API calls in terms of the test automation using Playwright? Those things also we'll see in terms of our course content. After completion of that, we'll move towards framework generation. So in terms of the framework generation, there'll be a few of the filter, few of the reporting part that we'll discuss, like how do we control the test case? How do we figure out the test case depending on so on, some kind of things. How do we group the test case? Like sometimes you'll generate the framework where you'll group the test case depending on smoke testing, regression testing, API testing, and so on, right? So how do we group the test case? How do we run a single test case out of all the framework that you have, out of all the test case that you have inside your framework? How do you skip the test case and so on? These things will be covering up again in terms of our course content. And after that, we'll cover like this will be again a part of the Playwright itself. TypeScript itself, where we'll be going through with TypeScript and JavaScript itself, where we'll be going through with how do we create a classes constructor, Cook's principle, which will mostly be consisting of inheritance and polymorphism over here. That will again go through in our course content. And after that, we'll go for a framework generation, where we'll introduce how do we create a page object model framework completely from theoretical to the practical level, where you can directly utilize the similar framework inside your organization as here I've mentioned like refactor one existing. We'll be writing few of the test cases inside our test automation to see how do we generate the framework, how do we write the test case in terms of a framework manner. We'll implement the page actions, base page, and so on in terms of our test automation as a framework manner. What will be the best practices we have to include, what we have to not, what we have to write in terms of the framework manner. Everything will be again completed from scratch. After completion of framework, we'll be going through to check like what are the different reports that we can generate. There'll be HTML report, there'll be LUR report. So all those things we'll see like how do we generate in terms of our test automation. We'll also understand what is like GitHub completely from scratch, from the beginner level. Like you'll understand how do we take the help of GitHub, how do we use GitHub, how do we like push and pull, how do we do merging kind of things and different kind of things in terms of the GitHub. And then we'll go through a CI/CD pipeline as well. So here in terms of our course content, we'll cover CI/CD pipeline using Jenkins, where whatever the framework that will be generating, that will be developing over here, we'll integrate it with CI/CD using Jenkins and we'll run over there as well. We'll create a job which will automatically run our test automation as well. Okay. After completion of this CI/CD integration, there will be a capstone project that you will have to complete. So whatever the framework that will be generating over here, people can extend that framework by creating different kind of so different kind of test script, different kind of or on a different separate application also you can try to work with, add that to the end-to-end. So create a CI/CD pipeline, which will be again using any of CI/CD pipeline you can take the help of, and that also you have to submit after the completion of your project for the verification, so that I can evaluate, give you the feedback, what went well, what is something that you have to improve upon. Okay, so this will consist of the complete course content in terms of our complete course content for the Playwright course. Okay. Any question till now? So I'll just pause for a few minutes and see if you have any questions over here. Any questions till now? Okay. So I'd also suggest, I'll also, request you people to share your name and contact details so that whatever the document that I was referring to, I'll share it with you people to go through with before we start our real sessions. Okay, so please try to share your name and contact details so that I can provide you the document. Okay. Now, let's move to the things where we say like who can enroll and any prerequisite. So the course content that we were going through, it also consists of JavaScript and TypeScript, which will be again completely from scratch, right? So anyone who is willing to learn test automation of all the experience, that can be a freshers, a person who is working on manual QA of all levels. That means beginner level, mid level, senior level. Even in the past, in the recent past, there were like more than 15 members who have joined and who were working on the QA manager part. So for all the levels, including the developers, because nowadays, why Playwright is so famous? Because even developers started using Playwright for unit testing. Even developers started using Playwright for unit testing. And that is the advantage nowadays that we have. The people and organization are moving towards Playwright because Playwright also supports unit testing. So development team will write unit testing using Playwright and testing team will write Playwright like test automation using Playwright for other kind of testing, right? So even developer will understand your code and you will understand the development team, whatever they have written, the unit testing, because both of you like development team and QA team are working on the same tools and technologies. That is the basic advantage where QA will understand unit testing. So in terms of the test coverage, there'll be minimal duplication because you understand what the development team have written. So you will not write those kind of things inside your test automation. And as development team also understand your code, so they'll check, okay, whatever you have written, they'll not cover in terms of the unit testing. In terms of a test coverage also, it gives a edge over there, um, uh, apart from the tools and technology that are available in the market. Okay.
Sir, which is most
Now, what is
popular?
any
TypeScript.
prerequisite?
Hello. Yes, sir.
Sorry.
TypeScript or Java? Playwright using Java or Playwright using TypeScript or JS is most
Right.
popular.
So both of them are in the market right now, but I see like nowadays people and organization are moving towards TypeScript.
Oh, sir.
Okay, so TypeScript is currently famous and popular in the market with Playwright.
Okay, sir.
We'll see, like we'll go through with both JavaScript and TypeScript, and we'll see what is the advantage that we in terms of going through with TypeScript. Okay.
Yes.
Now, any other question that you have? Okay. Now, any prerequisite? No, there is no such prerequisite that you need to have to enroll in this course. I would expect some kind of testing knowledge. If you have some kind of testing knowledge, that is enough to join this course. In terms of tools and technologies or any programming required, any programming knowledge is required. No, there is no such programming knowledge is required to join because we'll be covering everything from scratch. That means from the basic level, so you'll understand it in a better way. When we talk like who can enroll, again, that is not something that the only BTech people will be able to enroll. All the people, like in the past, I've taught like BCom, BA people as well, who have recently gotten the job in the industries. So everyone who is willing to learn the test automation can enroll for this. Now, one more advantage that we have, why should you learn it rather than waiting for a few months or few years? So as earlier, as I was talking about, like Playwright is in the market from the last 4 years, 4 years and around 3 months, close to 3 months. So why should you learn it right now? Because Playwright is new in the market. Playwright is growing in the market, and there are less skills and more demand right now. So most of the organization are currently moving towards Playwright framework. If I talk about my current organization itself, we have migrated 11,000 test cases from Selenium to Playwright. We have already migrated it. Okay, so smaller organization, bigger organization are going towards Playwright because maintenance used to be very less. And then there used to be, because it is a completely open source, the execution used to be faster. We'll talk about in terms of our course when we start, depending on the architecture, why it used to be faster in terms of other tools and technologies. Because of that also, it is very popular in terms of the market. So the skills are less, demands are more. When you go for the interviews, because it is available in the market from the last 4 years, so even whoever will be taking the interviews, they'll maximum have the experience of 3 or 3.5 years in terms of the Playwright. So there are basically limited set of questions that they'll be asking you, limited set of programming they'll be asking you, limited set of test automation in terms of either an assignment or inside the interviews itself, they'll be asking you. So limited set of questions, limited skills, limited interviewer knowledge in terms of the Playwright and all. So cracking the interviews, going for the interviews will be very easy because you will be able to understand everything from scratch. Interviewer will also again have limited set of knowledge. As I said, like skill are less, demand are more. So cracking the interviews will again be very easy. Again, if you wait for few months or few years, nowadays people have started learning Playwright, organization are moving towards Playwright. So that going forward, it becomes a bit complex. When I say like complex, that means we know like how used to be the interview for Selenium. Selenium is in the market from the last 20 years. So whenever you go for last 20 years, that means even interviewer, whoever will be taking, have some kind of experience, let's say 5 years, 10 years, or 15 years. So they'll be going in a much deeper because there have been a lot of transformation in the last 20 years for the Selenium. So they'll be going through each and every concept. Whereas Playwright is in the market, which is new, there'll be limited set of questions that I'll again be providing you people for the interview preparation and so on. And that will be enough to go for the interviews. Okay. Now, what will you learn after the course completion? So as soon as we complete the course, there'll be a lot of things that we'll be learning. One is you'll have a confidence of writing the test script using Playwright. Second, you will be in a position to develop the framework completely from scratch. Third, in terms of an interview purpose, you'll again be a confident enough to crack the interviews, confident enough to go for the interviews, provided you also have to practice whatever we go through in our courses. Not just like watching through the recorded sessions or watching through the live sessions. You also have to practice. If you practice a lot, you'll definitely get a job. That is one thing after the course completion. Again, like confidence towards development of the framework completely from scratch, that you will definitely be able to do that. Writing the test script, if the framework is already developed, understanding that those kind of things and writing the test case over there will become easy. You can instantly, like probably on the day second itself, you can start writing your test case inside any of the organization if you are joining as a new. Okay. These will be few of the advantages. Again, you'll see like what used to be the other advantage. If you go through in a detailed manner, if you try to understand in a better way, you will basically also become architecture level of the test automation in terms of Playwright, because you will be having the complete architecture level of understanding of the Playwright. How does Playwright work? whenever we write the test case, how does it work? What all the things happen in between? What all the things happen in backend, which is basically running our test execution and so on. Okay. Then regarding the course duration, everyone should be having this kind of question. So this will be 35 or 36 hours of sessions, which will consist of the complete sessions, not only the playwright, including the technologies that will be going through over here. Daily will be close to 1.5 hours of session, Monday to Friday IST time, which we have joined over here at 7:30 a.m. So this will again consist of 7:30 to 9 a.m. IST, Monday to Friday. Okay, in that daily 1.5 hours of session, we'll also be covering up the question and answer session that you will be having. Any kind of questions, if you have, either from the previous session or from the same session, we'll be covering up over there. Now, if I talk about course highlight, what is the highlight of the course? What are the things that we'll be covering up? So it will consist of a TypeScript and JavaScript, Playwright, Base Object Model Framework, locators in deep understanding. I have seen like few of the, because I teach in a few different institute as well, few different coaching center as well. So I know like how they go for the locators. They'll just go for writing few of the locators, like few, like 2 to 3, and then they'll say like they'll give you some kind of document and say like, okay, you can understand with that. But here we'll take 2 to 3 days of time to just understand the locators. How do we write the locators? Whenever someone asks you, how do you write the XPath? How will you write the XPath in different ways? Everything will go in a detailed way. DOM will understand like basically things. This DOM understand basically stands for document object model. So we'll understand whenever we have to write the locators, how do we write the locator in general. As I was going through with the course content, there are few of the test cases that we'll be writing in terms of API testing. So we'll see like basic API testing using Postman for the manual API testing, and then using the Playwright again. That will also be covering up for the get, post, put, and delete method. CI/CD pipeline using Jenkins, GitHub, and complete documentation for the Playwright. So as I was like a couple of minutes ago, I was requesting you people to share your contact number and details, right? Contact number and name. I was just referring for to share this particular course content and share you the architecture document, share you the Playwright complete. This is like basically you can select Playwright tutorial where you can go through all the methods that are available inside the Playwright, different kind of locators, different methods. How do we write? How do we use those methods? How do we set up CI/CD pipeline? How do we set up Jenkins? What are the methods that have been deprecated, which were in the past but not usable currently, and so on. So everything will be consisting inside. Everything will consist of this particular document in terms of the test automation using Playwright. Okay, so that is where I was requesting again. You can you people can share your contact number and name so that I can reach back to you with the documentation. Again, for the interview preparations, resume assistance, and many more. So interview preparations, I've also prepared few of the documents for which consist of the complete document of the interviews. That means you'll also be going through with the complete interview questions that basically will be you will basically go for the different kind of documents. What are the questions that the people will generally ask in terms of interviews and so on. So those things will also be also the document I have prepared for that. So that document also you can go ahead with. So if I just show you me. So you can see this document, which consists of first like from the basic of the Playwright, and there are a different set of questions that I've prepared, which is like 55 questions that I've given along with the answers. So answers have also been provided over here for all the 55 questions that I've included in this particular interview preparation questions. So everything you'll be seeing. So all the 55 questions that I've given over here along with the answers that how do you have to write that. Okay. So that will again be taken care in terms of our course content. And why Playwright? What is the advantage that we have in terms of Playwright? Let's see what is basically the advantage that we have in terms of Playwright. Why Playwright? Why people are moving towards Playwright and so on. So inside this document itself, I have also given the advantage over here for Playwright, which we have over the other tools and technology available in the market. So if you see over here, uh, Playwright basically enables end-to-end testing. These are the advantages that I'm currently talking about, advantage of the Playwright. Why people and why organization are moving towards Playwright. That is what I'm trying to make you understand. So first thing is that Playwright enables end-to-end testing for modern web application with auto waiting concept, right? So what is meant by auto waiting? So when we talk about an auto waiting, let's see what Playwright is saying over here. So when we talk about an auto wait in terms of Playwright, let's see what Playwright is saying in their own word. So Playwright is saying that, let's say for an example, when you are trying to click on an element, so in the other tools and technology, you also have to validate whether the element is available on the page or not. So for example, let's say you are trying to click on this particular button or this particular link over here, or any link that you are trying to click on. So in terms of manual testing also, what will you do? Basically, you will launch the application on any of the browser, and then you will see whether the link or the button that you are trying to click on is available on the page or not, right? You'll first have to validate, and then you will go and click on this element. Playwright says that whenever you try to click on any of the element, Playwright will automatically ensure that locator that you have written, that means the locator, either XPath, CSS selector, or any other specific things that you have written is matching with single element. It will first validate it is matching with one element. Second, it will check the element is visible on the page. So we do not have to check it. We do not have, basically, we do not have to perform to check whether the element is visible. Playwright will automatically check whether the element is visible on the page or not. Element is stable on the page or not. Element is not getting obstructed by any other element on the page. And then it will also check whether the element is enabled or not. So all these 5 steps that you see will be automatically checked by the Playwright. We do not have to even write a single line of code to wait for an element on the page to check it. And in this case, this will have an automatic waiting concept of 30 seconds. So if I show you a code, let's see uh, a code that I have written over here. Just do not worry like what we have written over here. But if you see this line of code that we have written over here, this does not consist of any waiting concept. We have not written. This is for launching the URL. This is for typing something inside the input field. This is typing password. This is clicking on login button, and this is validating whether whether we have successfully logged in into the page or not. Okay. Apart from that, if you see, we did not even write a single line of code to wait for username, to wait for password field, or to wait for button click, or to wait for to reach to the home page. Okay, there is nothing such line of code. But if you have to write the similar line of code in terms of Selenium, you basically have to write a waiting concept, which can be an implicit wait or explicit wait. So that is again one of a major advantage that we have in terms of Playwright, which reduces the code as well as it automatically checks whether the element is available on the page or not. Second advantage that we have is it works on major browser, which is Chromium, Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Safari, and so on. So it works on different major browsers that are available currently in the market. Okay, which is again similar to Selenium. It also works on different operating system, which also Selenium works on the similar kind of things, which works on different operating system. When we talk about a different operating system, that means same code will work on different operating systems. Whatever the code that you write on Windows operating system will also work on Linux and MacBook as well, and vice versa. Okay. Also, the similar code that you write for the web automation testing will also work on your mobile for browser specific things. For example, if you're using Android, then Google Chrome will be the default browser. If you're using iOS, then Safari will be the different default browser, right? So on the Safari inside the iOS mobile, and on the Google Chrome for Android mobile, similar code will work, whatever the code that you write for the web automation. That means in an emulated way. We'll see like how do we run your same code on the mobile as well. The major advantage that we have in terms of, again, one major advantage, it supports a most popular language that are available in the market, including JavaScript, TypeScript, Java, Python, C#, and so on. Okay. Um, and if I talk about Cypress, Cypress only supports JavaScript and TypeScript. Selenium supports other languages as well, but there are huge number of advantages that we have over Selenium for Playwright. We'll see again. Earlier I was talking about traces, like Playwright has one excellent feature known as traces. So traces is something which will automatically generate the log file, which will automatically generate the screenshot, which will automatically generate the test recording as well. And whenever a flaky tests are there, flaky means sometimes your test case get failed, sometimes your test case get passed, and so on, right? So for flaky tests, sometimes what happens is, um, whenever your test case gets failed, there might not be a situation that you have written the wrong code or something or some bugs are there inside the application. There might be a chances that due to the slowness of the application or due to the slowness of your um, CI/CD pipeline or some kind of issues that it basically failed. So what do we generally do is we retry those mechanisms, right? We try to retry or rerun the similar test case. That will also be taken care by the Playwright automatically. We do not have to depend on any third-party tool as we depend on in terms of Selenium by using itest retry logic, which is again an interface. Okay. So login mechanism will also be taken care automatically by Playwright inside the traces. We'll show you what is traces as soon as we start our courses and so on. But in general, if I just show you a simple things over here, let's try to run a single test case. Do not worry, like what we are trying to run over here. We are just trying to run this particular test case over here, and then see what is happening in this case. So this is generally trying to launch the test case over here. It will fill the username, fill the password, click on login, and then submit button. Everything have been done over here automatically. And we can see also the report have been generated over here along with the traces, right? Traces you can see over here. So that is what the traces that I was talking about. So let's open the report and see what is happening. Probably you will not understand the complete details right now, but let's see what are the things, what are the different things that it generate over here. So this is the report, this is the HTML report, and you can see like whatever the steps that it has followed, it has generated over here. Whatever the steps that it has followed in terms of working with the test automation, it has generated over here. Right? All the steps that you can see, what are the steps that it has navigated and so on. You can also see that it has taken the screenshot. You can also see that it has generated the traces. Traces will be the complete log file. And then you can also see the video recording of the your test execution. So you can see like it has launches, failed, successfully happened. So the video recording will also be generated automatically in terms of the test automation. We do not have to write even a single line of code. We'll show you like how do we generate the videos as well. And traces I'll show you some other days. This is the trace. This is basically the traces that it generates over here in terms of the test automation. I'll show you like how do we open this in some other sessions. Okay. Apart from that, if we talk about Playwright by default have support of built-in API. By default have support for built-in API. That means API testing will also be done by Playwright automatically. And one of our inspector tool that Playwright has given. Inspector tool is one of our UI tool that again Playwright has given, which will help us in checking the execution step by step. So when we talk about checking the execution step by step, let me show you how does it basically look like. So inspector tool is basically one of a tool that Playwright has given, which will help us in check what happened before the execution and what happened after the execution. That means you will be able to check. I believe my internet is pretty slow today. You people are able to see my screen, right? Able to hear me properly?
Yes. Mm.
Okay. So inspector tool again, I'll show you some other day. But this is a tool where you will see what happened before execution, before executing your code, and what happened after the execution of the step. So you'll also be able to see that it will say us that what happened before clicking on any of the element. Generally it will highlight that I'm going to click on this particular element and so on so element. What happened after the execution of the test case, everything will be, you will be able to see in a step-by-step manner. That is also known as time travel. That means what happened before execution, what happened after execution, you will also be able to see inside the inspector tool over there. Okay. And then we have a code gen, which basically generates automatically script. As soon as you navigate inside the application, it will keep on generating the test script. So those things again we'll see in our test automation as soon as we start our course. And then if any one of you have worked on previously on a shadow DOM element, shadow DOM element used to be something which is hidden on the DOM structure, which will be basically hidden on the DOM structure. We'll go through in detail again at the time of going through with this concept, but Playwright says that will automatically be able to handle the shadow DOM element as well. We'll show you once we start this concept, like how hard it used to be in terms of the Selenium to handle the shadow DOM elements, and how easy it is in terms of the Playwright to handle these kind of things in terms of the Playwright. Okay, so these are few of the advantages that we have in terms of Playwright. These are basically few of the, there are lot many other things that we'll go through in our course content, but these are few of the advantages that we have in terms of Playwright. And because of this, these are not available in Selenium and Cypress. Because of this, basically people are moving towards Playwright nowadays. Okay, and this is the reason why most of the people, why most of the organization are moving towards Playwright nowadays to choose test automation tool as a Playwright inside the organization and for the practice purpose as well. Okay, so with this, I'll stop the session over here with going through with the Q&A, and over to you people. If you have any kind of questions or if you have any kind of doubt regarding the course content, regarding anything, feel free to ask over here. Over to you people. So any questions, if you have any kind of questions, feel free to ask, and I'll try to answer over here. So I do not see any questions inside the chat. So feel free to ask any questions if you have related to course, related to timing, related to when are we going to start our sessions and so on.
Praveen, I have question regarding like JavaScript and type script. So like in my current organization, most of project they are using JavaScript. So JavaScript and TypeScript, is it similar kind, or like if I learn TypeScript, so will I able to do the JavaScript project also?
Right. So both are almost same. Both are 95% same. Only there are 5% difference. So if you learn TypeScript, that means you already have learned 100% JavaScript. If you learn JavaScript, that means you know 95% of the TypeScript as well. So both are of similar kind. Only the difference
Mhm.
is of the some kind of command, some kind of basically command, some kind of type that we'll see in our course. But for your question, if you learn TypeScript, ultimately you will also be able to work on the JavaScript as well.
Oh, got it.
That will learning types. Let's say if your organization is working on JavaScript, learning TypeScript will give you an advantage because learning TypeScript, you know 100% of JavaScript as well, and then on top of that, you also know the TypeScript as well.
Oh, got it.
Great. Any other question from anyone else over
Yeah,
here?
Praveen. In terms of the project, we have the multiple in terms of the project, we are considering as a JavaScript, like as a C sharp also with the similar commands will be that. My motto in the sentiment will be the same commands will be written in different kind of the languages in Java and as well as in C sharp also.
Right. So the concept will be similar. There will be a slight difference in the command. There will be a slight difference in the command. There will be a slight difference in the method, but concept will be similar. In different tools and technologies, there will be a slight difference in the method, uses of the method, writing the locators and so on. But concept will be similar. So let's say if you learn some other technologies going forward, then you can, with the knowledge that you will be gaining with using like JavaScript and TypeScript, you can utilize there as well. But there will be certain logic changes because every tools and technology will have their own commands, right? C sharp will not be similar to JavaScript, or Java will not be similar to JavaScript. So there will be a basic changes in their command, however they execute, but logic will be similar. Okay, so to answer your question, you will have
Yes,
to.
yes, Praveen. Yes, I got it. I got it.
Okay. Any other question from anyone else over here?
Sir, any recording you are provided, any recording sessions?
Your voice is a bit breaking. I could not hear you. Please repeat it.
Recording sessions. You are providing any recording sessions? Recording.
Right. This is one again advantage I believe. Like I mentioned, I did not mention it. So all the sessions will be recorded and will be provided. Will you people will have the access to that? That will be a lifetime access. That is not something that for a month or two or a year or two. That will be again given for the lifetime access.
And sir, installation process, yeah, because it is installation is difficult. Yeah.
Installation is pretty simple in terms of Playwright. Every steps of the installation along with the recorded sessions will be given. We'll also be discussing in terms of our live session as well. Okay, not only that, I have also included that in the document that I was trying to show you. So inside the document also you'll be able to find out the um, step-by-step execution of the installation process as well. Okay, so I'll just wait for a couple of more minutes to see if you have any questions over here.
I'm Krish here, Praveen.
Hey, great.
I just I know joined a bit late only after like 7-8 minutes late. So did we discuss about are we stick with these timelines on the course completion, or it may get extended due to any with respect to any reasons? Sometimes it may go for like a couple of months or more than that, something like, or
No,
it's
no, will completely stick. Not only that, I have covered, like I just said, I have taken more than 40 sessions, 40 batches till date.
okay.
And every time, only the time when I was on leave due to some functions or due to some health conditions have been extended for a couple of days or a week time. But apart from that, it will never get extended.
Okay. No, accordingly, we have to plan. So it's quite, it depends, person to person. So for my, plan, so I'm just expecting
Definitely. There will not be any kind of disturbance. There will not be any kind of discontinuation and so on. It will keep on continuing in the same way.
And
Also,
did you discuss? Sorry, go ahead.
So I was saying, like, I forgot to display. The some few of the achievements that have been done by the people in the past. I'll show you that in our next session. There are a lot of testimonial that I've received recently from a previous batch student that I'll again show you in our previous session. Yes, go ahead, Krish.
Did you discuss about that fees? I'm not sure really. I didn't get actually since I joined.
Okay, so that basically you'll see in our the document, the inside the group as well, if you are inside the group. But it used to be it is basically 7,999 is the course fee for complete course, including like everything that we have discussed will be covered inside that.
Okay.
When I was talking about 1 year support, after 1 year support, that means you will also be getting the support for the next 1 year after the course completion. That will also be covering up inside the same fees. Okay, great. Any other questions from anyone else? Great, thanks, Krish.
Praveen, so this course will go till April end, am I correct?
So hopefully we should be able to complete by April end. This will be Monday to Friday, so depending on that, we can consider just 35 to 36 hours of session. Probably first week of May will be completing our session.
So when is going to continue the first session? I mean the course. I forgot to ask that as well. Sorry.
Right. In this week itself, we'll be starting with our first real session.
I mean any particular day or like?
Like first 3 days will be the demo.
Okay.
And after that, we'll be starting with our real session. So probably from Thursday, or if not Thursday, then Friday.
Okay. Fine.
Great. Okay. Okay. Any other question for the last round? Okay. So great. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining our demo sessions. Hope it might be useful. You might have learned some kind of things for the Playwright, and we can continue in the next session at the similar time, at the same time, where we'll go through with a few of the concept in terms of how do we write the test cases. Probably you'll not understand, but you'll not understand 100%, but you'll see like how do we basically write the test cases in terms of the framework manner or in terms of the scripting manner, what is page object model framework and so on as a part of again demo. And then we'll again start in our next couple of days for the real session where we'll be starting with the basics of JavaScript and TypeScript. Okay, great. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining today's session, and then we'll continue again the next session.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.